need to pass for this coming test coming up. And we're trying to be here at 4 o'clock now, and you guys, everybody's on time, so try to be on time next week. And because we have, thank you, if we have several coming in late, then we got to fall back and do the paperwork. The paperwork takes about 30 minutes. So just want to tell you that if you can't be on time, then we want to fall back and do the paperwork again, because it's a one-time deal, the paperwork. And the paperwork is very critical. It's just filling the little blocks and sheets and the address, social security number, etc. It's critical because if you don't fill out the paperwork correctly with the correct zip code, you know, a couple of guys didn't know what their zip code was last time. And they never got their card. They never got their card. They passed, but they didn't get the card. So find out what your zip code is, your exact address, where you want your card to go to. And bring that information when you come next Wednesday. It's just simple information as address, social security number, and zip code. Apartment number, whatever. If you got a zip code, you got digits, dash digits, so and so. Bring those every digit you can bring, because that's where the government's going to send your card to. So be sure and bring that information when you come next week. Okay, that's it. Page 1, we're going to do just a real brief review on our preparatory manual before we get started with type 2. Okay, briefly, type 1 is persons who maintain, service, repair, or dispose of small appliances must be certified as type 1 technician. That's type 1 certification. Type 2, persons who maintain, service, repair, or dispose of high or very high pressure appliances, except small appliances and motor vehicles. That's type 2. Type 3 is persons who maintain, service, repair, or dispose of low pressure appliances. They must be certified as type 3. Of course, universal is persons who maintain, service, or repair, or dispose of low and high pressure equipment, including small appliances, must be certified as universal. That's all of the stuff. You'll see that on the test as well. Once again, defined on page 1, under the introduction, the fines are $25,000 per day per violation. The bounty is $10,000 for providing information and or services concerning violations of EPA. Persons who maintain, service, repair, or dispose of appliances that contain regulated refrigerants must be certified in proper refrigerant handling techniques as of November 14, 1994. Those are going to be test questions right there. Those, I just called out about 6 questions. So be sure to have those memorized, those dates. That date, November 14, 1994. That's a very important date. The $10,000 fine and the $25,000 per day violation, those are going to be test questions. Okay, this is the test format. Test format, you must get 18 out of 25 correct, which would give you a 70% passing score. When you take this test, it'd be 18 out of 25 correct to pass the exam. I give you can miss 7 out of 25 questions per core, type 1, type 2, and type 3. You'll be taking 25 questions on core, 25 questions on type 1, 25 questions on type 2, and 25 questions on type 3. So and some of these questions are pretty tough. Okay, moving right on down the line, let's move on to general knowledge. Just in review, we're going to just do just a brief review. Depletion of ozone in the stratosphere causes crop loss, increase of eye disease, skin cancer, reduced marine life, deforestation, and increased ground level ozone. Bottom of the page. Due to the lifespan of chlorine in the stratosphere. One chlorine atom can destroy approximately 100,000 ozone molecules. Those will be test questions. The second paragraph. The stratosphere is the Earth's security blanket. It is located between 10 and 30 miles above the Earth's surface and is comprised of, among other things, ozone. An ozone molecule consists of 3 oxygen atoms. The ozone layer serves 2 important functions. Ozone protects us from harmful ultraviolet radiation and helps maintain stable Earth temperatures. Stratospheric ozone depletion is a problem that affects the entire planet. Okay, move on to the next page. CFC, chlorine, fluorine, and carbon. HCFC, hydrogen, chlorine, fluorine, and carbon. HFC, hydrogen, fluorine, and carbon. R11, R12, and R500 are examples of CFCs. This is on page 2, that's on page 2. R22 and R123 are examples of HCFCs. R23 are what you see in chillers. Low pressure, will be a low pressure. R22 what you see in your traditional air conditioning. R134 is an HFC. Ozone depletion, ODP. Ozone depletion potential is a scale used to determine the ability of CFCs and HCFCs to destroy the ozone. Okay, GWP is global warming potential. I got a little note down there, global warming potential, GWP. CFCs have the highest ozone depletion potential. Okay, the Montreal Protocol was the landmark agreement which calls for the phase out of CFCs. CFCs will be phased out of production on December 31, 1995. Moving on down, it's a violation of Section 6082. Knowingly release CFCs or HCFCs, fail to reach required evacuation rates, fail to have an EPA-approved recovery device, equip with low-loss fittings, falsify or fail to keep required records, fail to become certified as of November 14, 1994, bent CFCs or HCFCs since July 1, 1992, bent HFC refrigerants after November 15, 1995. Released mixtures of nitrogen and refrigerant from a fully charged system while testing. Those will be on the test. You can take that to the bank with you. Okay, moving on to 3 R's: recover, recycle, and reclaim. Reclaim is to purify used refrigerant to a level equal to new product specifications. Don't get those mixed up now. Recover, recycle, reclaim. Because you're going to see what we've covered now, you're going to see on every one, type 1, type 2, and type 3. Because core is mixed in all of them. Core is mixed in every one of them. That's the reason why we're going to go back and do a little review of core. Because you're going to see core questions in every part of it. Okay. Recovery devices. Refrigerant recovery and or recycling equipment manufactured after November 15, 1993 must be certified by an EPA-approved equipment testing organization such as UL or EPL to meet ARI standards. There are 2 basic types of recovery devices: system-dependent or passive, and relies on the compressor within the refrigeration appliance to recover refrigerant. And you can only use those on appliances containing 15 pounds of refrigerant or less. The other type is self-contained or active, has its own means of drawing refrigerant out of the appliance, which is what you basically use on the job today, or you will be using when you pass this exam. You will be using the active type. Okay. Recovery techniques at the bottom. Before beginning a recovery procedure, check the nameplate to see what type of refrigerant is in the system. You don't want to ever mix refrigerants. I'll move on to the next page. Let's see. Keep reading over this whole top paragraph. There's about 10 questions buried in that. That's very critical. We're going to go over some of those a little later in the program tonight. Okay, recovery cylinders. remember that at the bottom of page 4, the EPA requires that refillable refrigerant cylinders must not be filled above 80% of its capacity by weight. That's going to be a test question too. Okay, before putting a cylinder into use, you must remove the air and moisture out of that cylinder. I'll move on to the next page. Shipping and transporting. Just keep in mind that each cylinder must be marked with a DOT, which is Department of Transportation, classification tag indicating it is a 2.2 non-flammable gas. Some states may require special shipping procedures. Okay, dehydration. Proper dehydration procedures through evacuation are reported to follow. When moisture is allowed to remain in a system containing CFCs or HCFCs, the refrigerants will decompose and result in the formation of hydrochloric and hydrofluoric acid. That's very critical. There will be a test question. Moving right on down. Never enter the bottom of the page. Never energize a hermetic compressor under a vacuum. A hermetic compressor relies on the flow of refrigerant for cooling. Energizing the compressor under vacuum can damage the motor winding. They have been known to blow up as well. It's an effect called the corona effect. How many of you have ever heard of the corona effect? But if a hermetic compressor is under vacuum, you have nothing at all to separate the electrical voltage, so it's in a vacuum. And so it can literally just go together, and it can explode and blow up. It blows the trembles out of the compressor. I've seen them separate before. That's called the corona effect. Now, it may not be in the test, but it's just good information to know about. That's what it's actually called, the corona effect. I've seen it listed one other time that I can remember, but it's very critical that you never energize a hermetic compressor under a vacuum. Okay. I'll move on to the next page. At the top, leak repair requirements. Although it is a good business practice and important for the environment to repair all leaks, the EPA does not require leak repairs of small appliances. So, that doesn't make much sense, but that's the EPA law. If you got a refrigerator, you got a leak on it, you don't have to repair it. Like I say, it don't make much sense, but that's the law. Some of these questions don't make much sense either. I can tell you that right now too. But you got to know it. You got to know it. We got to sit down and figure out and know them and know exactly where to go back and look this information up. Our commercial and industrial procedure. Commercial and industrial process refrigeration appliances that contain more than 50 pounds of refrigerant must be repaired when the annual leak rate exceeds 35%, which is good common sense to know. If it's more than 50 pounds, and you got an annual leak rate of 35%, you're losing a bunch of refrigerant, guys. See, that's a key point in getting it repaired. Okay, moving on down to, let's see, substitute oils. Moving down to blends. Some of the, last paragraph, some of the blends are called ternary, which means they're three-part blends. Ternary blends will leak from a system at different rates because of the different vapor pressure of each component of the blend. It's on refrigerants. The variance in the boiling and condensing temperatures of the component refrigerants is called temperature glide. That's going to be a test question. Because of this, the proper method of charging a blend to weigh the refrigerant to the system high side as a liquid. Ternary blends are used with synthetic alkylbenzene oil. Make certain you are using the correct oil for the refrigerant. Most refrigerant oils are hygroscopic. That means rapidly absorb moisture. Always keep oil containers sealed tightly when not in use to prevent moisture contamination. Hygroscopic means highly absorbent of moisture. That's going to be a test question. Moving on to safety. The number one cause of death in refrigerant-related accidents is asphyxia, which is oxygen deprivation. That's going to be a test question. That will be a test question. Adequate ventilation must be provided in low areas where refrigerants may accumulate. Inhaling refrigerant vapors may cause harsh irregularities and unconstants. Okay, SCBA. Only persons using and properly trained in the use of self-contained breathing apparatus, SCBA, should enter an enclosed area where a refrigerant leak has occurred. That's going to be a test question. Never expose R12 or R22 to open flames or glowing hot metal surfaces. Okay, because you create hydrofluoric and hydrochloric acid when you do that. Always use a regulator when you're pressurizing a system. Always use a regulator when you're pressurizing a system. There should be a relief valve downstream from the pressure regulator. Corrosion is found in the valve must be replaced. To determine the safe pressure for leak testing, check the data plate for the low side test pressure. Test pressure value. Refrigeration systems must be protected by a pressure relief valve. Okay. Remember that, or remember this coming up. ASHRAE Standard 15 requires all equipment rooms containing equipment utilizing an A1 refrigerant, R11, R12, or R134, must be fitted with an oxygen deprivation sensor and alarm. Equipment rooms with equipment using B1 refrigerant, which is R123, must be fitted with a refrigerant sensor. Never energize a reciprocating compressor if the discharge valve is closed. You'll blow that compressor up, you'll pop the reed valve in, or you could blow it up. So you make sure those valves are open before you go and energize that compressor if it's got valves on it. Okay, that's just a quick review of the core. Let's move on now to Type 2. Type 2 certification. Page 10. Technicians maintaining, servicing, repairing, or disposing of high or very high pressure appliances, except small appliances and motor vehicle air conditioning, must be certified as Type 2, or a universal technician. That will be a test question. Beginning November 14, 1994, the sale of CFC and HCFC refrigerants has been restricted to technicians certified in refrigerant recovery. Leak detection. After the installation of any type of system, the unit should first be pressurized with nitrogen and leak checked. A trace amount of refrigerant, preferably R22, may be added to help identify leaks. In order to determine the general area of a leak, use an electronic or ultrasonic leak detector. Once the general area of the leak is located, the use of soap bubbles will pinpoint the leak. Okay, we do that all the time here. We pressurize it. We do it on vehicles. We do it on all of our refrigerators and our systems. Some of you have done that, a lot of them today. And all week long, all last week, we pressurize it with nitrogen, give it a shot of 22, and we usually can pick that leak good. Like trace of 22, we can pick that leak good. That's where you find a leak, and that's legal to find the leak in this amount. The ones of you that haven't done that, we do that here on a regular basis. You might have seen it done. And but that's a good common practice to find a leak. Now I know it helps to see it done rather than read about it and not ever see it done, but we do that here. And all of you have been in this class have seen how we do it. We use nitrogen. We go through a lot of nitrogen every quarter. We go through 2 or 3 bottles of big bottles of nitrogen. That's where we find our leaks. Okay. A refrigeration unit using an open drive compressor that is not used for a period of time is likely to leak from the rotating shaft seal. All right, you're going to see that. That's going to be a test question. During a visual inspection of any type of system, traces of oil are an indicator of a refrigerant leak. Excessive superheat is also an excellent indicator of a leak in a high-pressure system. If you've not seen the superheat process being used, you may miss that question. That's a tough one. But when you're checking that superheat, you're putting that thermometer or the mister off the thermometer on the suction line, and you're getting a high superheat. When I say high, above 20, 25, 30, 40, 50, then you got a good chance you got a freon leak. And The ones up in this class and before, you know that. And if you're in the field, you've seen it done before too. But high superheat usually is an example of a leak. If you see traces of oil, it's an example of a leak. Now, those both are going to be test questions now. They will be test questions. Recharging technique. After any refrigeration system has been opened for service, the filter dryer should be replaced. Once recovery and evacuation have been completed, initial charging should begin in the vapor phase. Breaking a deep vacuum with a liquid charge at lower temperatures enough to cause freezing. Before charging with the liquid, a system using R12 requires a saturation temperature of 36 degrees Fahrenheit or approximately 33 degrees PSIG. Once the correct saturation temperature has been reached, the technician may begin liquid charging. This is the proper method to charge a system that contains a large amount of refrigerant. Now guys, that's going to be a test question now. I can tell you that right now. You need to know how to read that PT chart. You need to know how to read that PT chart. Look to the back. Everybody look at the last sheet. Look on the last sheet. On the very back page, this page right here, that's your PT chart. Most of you probably got one in your back pocket. You probably got one in your back pocket just as well. If you look at those temperatures right there, you look at, you don't see 32 degrees, but you'll see it on your PT chart, but you see 40 degrees and 30 degrees on temperature Fahrenheit. Come across the Freon 12, at 30 degrees is 28.4, at 4 degrees is 37.0 PSIG, R22, 68.5 at 40 degrees. So that means if you got a system that you're running a 54.9 suction pressure, that means you run about a 30 degree coil. That means you got a freezing coil. That's on R22. That's what that means. 32 degrees is the magic number. So if you run a 54 then that means you got a 30 degree coil. That means you got some cold air coming off that coil, but it ain't going to be for long because it's going to freeze. On R123, if you look at 4 degrees, 18.2 on R123, that will be a good suction pressure. That's in vacuum too now. That parenthesis means in vacuum. So that means the chiller will be running in a vacuum. That'd be the suction pressure of a chiller using 123. Go right across to R134A, 34.5 at 4 degrees. That'd be a good temperature on a car air conditioner. That'd be a good suction pressure on a car air conditioner about 34. That'd be a good suction pressure on a car air conditioner about 34. If you go to R12 at 4 degrees, look at 37. So you look at it somewhere. So you see it, there's a real close difference in R134A and R12. 37 be the suction pressure at 4 degrees on R12, and 34.5 be the suction pressure on 134A. So you see there's only, you're right there about 2.5 PSIG difference. So that's why R134A is the universal replacement for Freon 12 because it's so close in pressure. It's right there at it, so close in pressure. That's how you read that PT chart. Okay, R11 at 4 degrees. If you look at R11, the very first one in the orange tank, 15.6 vacuum. That parenthesis means vacuum. That'd be the suction pressure of a chiller on using R11 on low pressure. And you're going to have to interpolate. Every one of you is going to have a test question where you got to interpolate one question. At least one question you got to interpolate. They're going to give you like 35, they're going to give you a suction pressure, you got to interpolate what that temperature is going to be. So I'm really about going over this chart. That's going to be a test question. I don't know which one it's going to be. I got 40 different tests that you'll be handed out. Everyone's going to have a different question on it. It'll all be different. Nobody have the same test. You may get R12, you may get R111, you may get R123. Who knows what you're going to get? But you got to be able to read that chart. So make sure you can read that chart. That's going to be an easy question. Be an easy question for you. Make sure you read that chart. If you can't read that chart, when you leave this place, you ask, you ask me or you go back to the job site and you ask the #1 service mechanic there and you find out how to read that PT chart, because you're going to see that. I guarantee you, you're going to see that for a test question. I don't want nobody to miss that. Okay, let's flip on back to type 2. On page 10. Under recovery techniques, proper recovery techniques begin with the use of appropriate recovery equipment that has been certified by an EPA-approved testing laboratory to meet ARI standards. Now, some of the guys were talking to me earlier. There's a little trick question in there. I may have to get some clarification for it. If I do, I'll let you know before the test. I'll make that announcement before the test. There's a couple of them kind of some trick questions. And if we find out that some of this stuff is going to go over, then I'll give you a clarification before the test, where to give you a heads up on that particular one. I may have to call the EPA to get a clarification. If I do, then I'll do it before the test time and let you guys know. Read that question closely. That first statement. Proper recovery techniques begin with the use of appropriate recovery equipment that has been certified by an EPA-approved testing laboratory. Example, the UL or EPL, to meet ARI standards. To meet ARI standards. You got to meet the ARI standards. EPA-approved testing laboratory to meet ARI standards. Okay. Technicians working with multiple refrigerants before recovering, recycling a different refrigerant must purge the recovery recycling equipment by recovering as much of the first refrigerant as possible. Change the filter and evacuate. There is one exception to this rule. Technicians working with the R134A must provide a separate recovery recycling machine, set of hoses, gauges, vacuum pump, and oil containers to be used with R134A only. That's going to be a test question too. It says for additional information, see page 3. Let's go back to page 3. Let's see what it's got about 134A, just to double check. Okay. At the bottom of the page, recovery techniques. Before beginning a recovery procedure, check the nameplate to see what type of refrigerant is in the system. It is important not to mix refrigerants in a recovery tank. Each recovery cylinder must be designated for a specific refrigerant type. Mixed refrigerants may be impossible to reclaim. A reclamation facility may refuse to reclaim or may charge a substantial fee to destroy mixed refrigerants. Okay. So it's referring to the fact that you make sure that you do not mix refrigerants and make sure each refrigerant is marked for that particular drum that you're using for that particular refrigerant. That's why many of your air conditioning mechanics stick to air conditioning and don't cross over to refrigeration, because in refrigeration you got about 10 different kinds of refrigerants right now there, and that's approved. In air conditioning, you only got 2 right now. You got R22 and R410A. That's why you don't have a lot of crossover. Isn't that right, Jeff? Because not many companies can afford to have 10 different drums and have everybody trained to recover the oil, retrofit it, change the oil in every one of them. You can't do it. It's not possible for every mechanic you've got to have that kind of training. We try to do that here in this class. We try to go over the techniques. We had a seminar last night, and we went over automotive air conditioning. Many of you were here at that seminar. And we talked about the different kinds of oils and the different refrigerants. And we talked about the upcoming refrigerants. It lasted from about 7 to about 9:30. We had another building over there. We got a tape of that too. If anybody wants to see that tape, we covered a lot of this information. It was a very good seminar. When you that came, you can tell the guys at the break about the seminar. But if you ever want to come over, if you aren't a member of the class, you want to take a look at this seminar, you can take a look at your weapons. Take a look at this video of this particular seminar we had last night. We had NAPA coming in and gave us a seminar on all the different kinds of refrigerants coming out, the proper ways to retrofit, and some of the problems you see in the cars today, dealing with the different kinds of freons and the proper procedures in changing out compressors. Let's move on back to Type 2 certification. Page 11. This is a very critical page now, guys. Anywhere in the world you can memorize these dates. You need to memorize. The following is a list of the required recovery levels in inches of mercury for Type 2 appliances. Okay. HCFC 22 appliances or isolated components of such appliances normally containing less than 200 pounds of refrigerant. Before 11/15/93, 0. After 11/15/93, 0. HCFC 22 appliances or isolated components of such appliances normally containing more than 200 pounds of refrigerant. 4 inches of mercury before 11/15/93, 10 inches after 11/15/93. Other high-pressure appliances or isolated components of such appliances normally containing less than 200 pounds of refrigerant, 4 inches of mercury before 11/15/93, 10 inches of mercury after 11/15/93. Other high-pressure appliances or isolated components of such appliances normally containing more than 200 pounds of refrigerant, 4 inches of mercury before 11/15/93, after 11/15/93, 15 inches of mercury. Next, very high pressure appliances, 0 before 11/15, 0 after 11/15. Now, the only one way to do it is memorize those. You just got to flat memorize them, guys. I mean, I don't know no other way to tell you, so you just got to memorize those. I don't know of any other way to tell you. You just got to put that memory back to work. After reaching the appropriate recovery vacuum, the technician should wait a few minutes to see if the system pressure rises. Pressure may increase as refrigerant is released from the compressor oil. If system pressure increases, recovery must be repeated. That's a test question. When leaks in an appliance make evacuation to the prescribed level impossible, the appliance may be evacuated to 0. That's a test question too. When leaks in an appliance make evacuation to the prescribed level impossible, the appliance may be evacuated to 0. Maybe as low as it could. If it's impossible, maybe have so many leaks in it, it won't go no lower than that. The technician must isolate a parallel compressor system in order to recover refrigerant. Failure to isolate a parallel compressor system will result in an open equalization connection that will prevent refrigerant recovery. If the unit is operational and has a receiver storage tank, as much refrigerant as possible should be recovered in the receiver. The EPA regulations define a major repair as any maintenance or service involving the removal of any of the following components: compressor, condenser, evaporator, or auxiliary heat exchanger coil. But you will see that on the test, because a major repair, every test I've ever seen, just walk around looking, I see major repair many times. Major repair. So that's on every test. Major repair is going to be compressor, condenser, evaporator, auxiliary heat exchanger. Okay. That completes Type 2. Let's go over some Type 2 questions now. Everybody pull out the practice test. Everybody's got a copy of the practice. Has everybody got the practice test with them? Okay. Let's go to Type 2 questions. Number 51. Question number 51. Which refrigerant can be used for leak detection as a trace gas and pressurized with nitrogen? What's the answer to that? 22. R22. Does everybody not understand that? We've covered that several times, and you're going to see that will be on the test. Number 52. traces of oil around the sight glass, inlet, fitting of a refrigeration system might be the indication of what? A leak. Number 52A. Does anybody not see that one now? Number 53. A condition of excessive superheat at the evaporator outlet and compressor inlet of an air conditioning system could be an indication of what?
Low charge.
B.
Low charge.
Low refrigerant charge. We talked about superheat readings, didn't we? Jim McGowan. We talked about a high superheat could be low in freon. Low in refrigerant charge. Does anybody not see that one now? We're going to number 54. Type 2 clarification, as identified by EPA, applies to what equipment? Split air conditioning equipment with 5 pounds of refrigerant and greater. We know that 5 pounds, less than 5 pounds is type 1, right? Okay. C is low pressure appliances. That's going to be type 3. B, refrigerator, freezer, and vending machine appliances. That's going to be type 1. Small appliances with 5 pounds of refrigerant and less is going to be type 1. So the only answer would have to be D by elimination. That's the only answer it can be. Okay, move on to number 55. Front seat, the three-way suction service valve will close the what? Suction inlet to the valve. Front seating, the three-way suction valve will close the. If you front seat that valve, you're going to close the suction inlet to the valve. How many of you have never done that before on anything? I believe we got one. Keith, have we got one up here? Didn't you ask me about that one?
We have one once before. I'm not
Let's see.
sure.
Somebody put it up over there.
Maybe,
If you front seat it,
we're going to cut open up there.
let's see, let's find that over there.
The one that's good, it's good. It's one of those.
What page is that on there?
Page 1213 in your ACCA book. It shows front, back, and hip seat.
Okay, you guys, turn, what page is that now?
12 and 13 of the ACCA book.
Okay, turn to page 12 and 13. That's a picture of it right there. That's going to be a test question, guys. Page 12 and 13 of the book that I gave you. That will be a test question. When you front seat it, you close it off the inlet. Close it off that inlet. That will be a test question, I guarantee you. Good service practice. Are any questions about that now? Move on to number 56. The required level of evacuation for recovery equipment manufactured before November 15, 1993 on a system with R22 charge of less than 200 pounds. All right, move back to page 11. Move back to page 11. Now, what's the answer, guys?
Will be 8.
8.
I mean, 10.
Will be 0. 0 in. Who will you in?
Oh, I mean, okay, 0. I was looking at the wrong question.
The required level of evacuation for recovery before November 15, 1993. That's the key before on a system of less than 200 pounds.
0.
You guys see that now? The very top one on the left is 0. That's going to be a test question. Now, see, these are kind of tricky now, so you got to memorize. You're going to see 2 or 3 or 4 questions back to back on this test about these evacuation levels now. So guys, please memorize these. Okay, number 57. The required level of evacuation for recovery equipment manufactured after. Now the key word here is after. November 15, 1993, on a system containing less than 200 pounds of refrigerant is what?
8.
Once again, top right corner, right? 0. 0 inches of mercury. Number 58. The required level of evacuation for recovery equipment manufactured after November 19th. The key word is after. The key words in both of these are going to be before and after. If it's after, it's going to be greater. If it's before, it's going to be lesser. That's one way you can remember. If it's after, it's going to be usually greater because they're more strict. The required level of evacuation for recovery equipment manufactured after November 15, 1993 on a system containing less than 200 pounds of refrigerant of R12 is what?
See?
10. The key word here is after. It's less than 200 pounds. Okay. Any questions about that one now? Moving on 59. Industrial process and commercial refrigeration equipment with an annual leak rate of what requires repair under EPA regulations?
35%.
35%. And we're talking industrial and commercial. Industrial and commercial, 35%. Number 6. Are there any questions about number 59? We covered that in the wording of a while ago. Number 6. Comfort cooling chillers and all other equipment with an annual leak rate of what requires repair under EPA regulations? 15%. What's the key word on those two, guys? What's the key word?
Cooling, and just annual leak rate.
And well, industrial process and commercial and then comfort cooling. Those are the key words right there. So you got to look at the key words. Number 61. Recovery time can be shortened by recovering as much liquid as possible in the initial stages, using short hoses, cooling the recovery tank in ice water, or all the above.
All of the above.
All the above. That's exactly right. Or even if you didn't know that you could cool the recovery tank in ice water, you know that common sense would tell you that using shorter hoses would cause a quicker recovery. And we talked about recovering as much liquid as possible in the initial stages. So we know if you got 2 out of the 3 that you know is right, and you didn't know about the third one, you'd have to be all the above. Because there's one right answer most of the time on all these. Now, every now and then we find one that's a little bit erroneous, a little bit ambiguous. Most of the time it's going to be one right answer. The answer would be C. Number 62. The majority of the liquid to be recovered from a system will be found in the what? Receiver. Answer that is going to be in the receiver. Because the liquid receiver tank is where most of your liquid is going to be stored at. That's where it's going to be stored at in this particular question. And so that is going to be B. Okay, number 63. And the key word here is when applied. Receiver when applied. The majority of the liquid to be recovered from a system will be found in the liquid receiver. The liquid receiver, we didn't draw a liquid receiver and then draw it right here, but that liquid receiver will be right. Let me draw it in here for you. In our drawing, be right over here. There it is right there, liquid receiver. Liquid receiver, we're leaving the condenser. Coming in as a vapor. Coming in as a vapor at the top. We condensing. Going into your liquid receiver where your storage at. The expansion valve. The expansion valve, you can level in your receiver. Fluctuate according to your load on the evaporator. They fluctuate according to the load. The freon comes in and out of here. It's actually stored. is actually stored in the bottom of your condenser, it should be all liquid in that receiver. It should be, every bit of it should be liquid in that receiver. Okay. Next is number 63. It becomes the owner's responsibility to maintain records of all refrigerants added to units that contain more than what pounds of refrigerant charged?
50 pounds.
50 pounds. Now, where'd y'all find that answer at? Did we cover that answer? You guys remember reading that answer? The answer is 50 pounds.
No more 50 pounds in a reading will at least require
Right.
commercial and industrial process refrigeration appliances that contain more than 50 pounds of refrigerant must be repaired. But it didn't say in that reading there that it's responsibility of the owner.
The key word here is you got a lot of refrigerant. That's the key word. It's a lot more. If it's 15, 20, or 35, that's not as great as 50, so that's the key word. It's more. The more refrigerant you got, the more records, the better records you got to see. If you got 25 refrigerators out here, they don't really care about that. But if you got one chiller that holds 350 pounds of refrigerant, you better have records on it. That's the key word, more. So remember that, okay? I'll move on to number 64. A major repair is defined by EPA as replacing the, A, condenser fan. We know that's not it, don't we, guys? B, compressor. We know that's one of the major components we talked about earlier. C, evaporator. We know that's one of the components. So D, B, and C. One action is B and C. If you put down B and don't put down C, it's going to be wrong. You got to put down both of those. So you got to know exactly what those major components are. Number 65. Exceptions to the required evacuation level for recovery equipment that require an appliance be evacuated to only 0 PSIG apply to appliances that are being salvaged or filled with water or substance that would change the recovery equipment, have defective evaporator fan motors, have air-cooled condensers. B. Well, the answer to that one is B. Or filled with water or substance that would damage the recovery equipment. Well, you guys understand that one now? It's got water in it, it's going to damage the equipment. So, all you got to do is go to 0 on that.
One like that one, Mr. Bixby, what would be the key word to look for in order to get that correct answer? Just roughly.
Damage to your equipment, or being salvaged, that have defective evaporator fan motors, have air-cooled condensers. Really, the key word there is recovery equipment. Because we're talking about recovery, we're talking about the whole goal of our program, as I said last week, is recovering refrigerant. That's our goal. So that's going to be the key word, recovering that refrigerant, so we don't destroy the ozone layer. If ever in doubt, think of that. Which one of these is going to be destroying the ozone layer? And I should give you a clue right there. Which is the greatest? Which one of these answers will be the greatest clue that's going to be destroying the ozone layer? So it's going to be greater. The 50 pounds. The one about 50 pound question. The 50 is more than 5. A 50 is more than 15. So greater, destroy, recover. Our goal is to save the ozone layer and recover this refrigerant. Number 66. The generally accepted rule for maximum liquid filling of a cylinder is what? 80%. We covered that one in its entirety. We covered it. That's going to be a test question too. Number 67. The refrigerant you would expect to find in a split air conditioning system manufactured before 1995 would be what? R22. Every one of you worked on central air conditioning R22 system. Number 68. System-dependent recovery equipment is limited to appliances containing what? Pounds of refrigerant.
15.
Less than 15 pounds would be 8. System-dependent would be 8. Number 69, the condition and state of refrigerant entering the receiver is what?
C.
Subcooled, high-pressure liquid. We know it's not going to be superheated high-pressure vapor. We know it's not going to be superheated low-pressure vapor. We know it's not going to be subcooled low-pressure liquid because of the refrigeration cycle up there. Because we all know the refrigeration cycle. We know where high pressure is leaving that compressor. We know the high pressure leaving the compressor, and we know that we've got low pressure and then evaporator. So we know what our pressures are. We know what the refrigeration cycle is. We all know that. We done covered it over and over and over. So it's just really a common sense thought kind of a question. If you don't know it, see me after class. Let's go over this again on the board. I'll be glad to stay with you. Go over it with me on the board. We'll go over it again. Matter of fact, I made about Paul, how long was that video?
Probably about 35, 40 minutes.
I made about a 30-minute video of this right here, and went over it in detail. I must admit, did a personal 30-minute video for some of the guys who didn't quite comprehend the book and didn't attend videos we've got of Lennox and Carrier. Really couldn't get out of it what I cut the fat out, and we went straight to the board right here and covered. And I loaned it several of you guys to take a look at it. If you need to see that video, see me after class, or we need to talk about it again, see me after class. Number 7. The condition and state of refrigerant leaving the accumulator of a system is what?
C.
Superheated low pressure vapor. The condition and state of refrigerant leaving the accumulator of a system. Now don't get the accumulator of a refrigeration system and the receiver accumulator of a car mixed up if you've done much work with cars, because it's confusing. We're talking about the accumulator here on the low pressure side. The accumulator is going to be placed right before it enters that compressor. As a general rule, in refrigeration, it's going to be placed right here. And any liquid that might be coming from this evaporator, going to this accumulator, what I'll do is the liquid will come in here and it'll boil off, and the vapor is always going to that compressor, so it won't destroy that compressor. Low pressure, because low pressure from here on back, you got low pressure. You got low pressure from here, low pressure. Low pressure is from your meter device to your, in that compressor, it's bringing it in as a low pressure and compressing to a high pressure. This whole side is low pressure, this side over here is high pressure. Okay.
The map was showing us last night, right?
It wasn't.
Accumulator.
Right.
Yeah, well, you showed us that.
Right. Okay, let's move on to number 71. Deep vacuums used for evacuation and dehydration of systems are measured in what? D, microns. Microns. That's why we use our micron meter. Because it measures in microns. In this class, we will not hook up a system without hooking up that micron meter. We will not hook up a system without hooking up the micron meter, because that tells you if you got a leak or not. That's the only way we'll pull a vacuum use that micron meter in this class. Number 72. Non-condensables in an air-conditioned what's that word right there?
Refrigeration. Will.
Air conditioner, okay. Non-condensable in an air conditioner or refrigeration system will tend to stay in the top of the condenser, increase the high side pressure, be purged with a recovery machine, or all the above. What's the answer, guys?
All the above.
All the above, that's exactly right. Non-condensable will be air. If you go in and service in a unit, you don't purge your gauge first, and you don't purge it a little bit. You get air in that system with the hoses, continuously service like that, and you'll get air in that system, and air is oxygen, and oxygen is water, so you're going to have hydrochloric acid before long, and you're going to restore that compression. That's what's called non-condensables in a system. Number 73, R134A is a drop-in replacement refrigerant for water. It's not a drop-in. You cannot use 134A as a drop-in refrigerant. You have to retrofit it, you have to change your oil, you have to change your metering device, you have to flush the system to get out your old oil, your old mineral oil, and use your replacement oil, metering device. And dryer. Or number 74. One of the easiest ways to identify the type of refrigerant in a system is to what? Check the nameplate data. That's pretty much common sense. Check the stem of the THB. Check the nameplate data. Check the safety pressure cutout. Now you could check the safety pressure cutouts if somebody hadn't adjusted them, and you could tell what, get a good idea about it, but if it's R12 or R134A, you couldn't do it because they're so close. You couldn't do it. You can't smell it and tell. You can't smell it and tell. Check the nameplate data. That'll be the only answer for that. Number B. Number 75. At room temperature, at room ambient temperature of 80 degrees, the pressure of a cylinder container R22 will be approximately what? Number 75. 8. All right, let's go to our PT chart. Back of this page over here. Let's look at R22 at 80 degrees. R22, 143.6. The answer's going to be A, 143. Everybody see that now? That's just simply a matter of reading that chart. 143. Has everybody got a handle on that now before we move on? Yeah. Okay. Next is type 3. All right, it's 5 o'clock. Let's take about a 10-minute break, and right on back we'll hit type 3 and then 25 more questions, and as many as we can get in before 6 o'clock.
What I done, Sam, yeah, maybe do.
Okay, let's go ahead and get back started with type 3. No time to waste. Type 3 on page 12. Type 3 certification. Technicians maintaining, servicing, or repairing, or disposing of low pressure appliances must be certified as a type 3 technician or a universal technician. Disposing of low pressure appliances. Low pressure appliances being a chiller. Leak detection. A low pressure system operates below atmospheric pressure. That's the reason why they call it low pressure, because it operates in a vacuum. And we covered that while ago on our PT chart. You have leaks in gaskets or fittings will cause air and moisture to enter into the system. Let me read it one more time. A low pressure system operates below atmospheric pressure in a vacuum. Leaks in gaskets or fittings will cause air and moisture to enter into the system. That's going to be a test question. The most effective method of leak checking a low pressure refrigeration unit is to pressurize the system by the use of controlled hot water or heater blankets. If controlled hot water or heater blankets are not available, then the use of nitrogen is acceptable for pressurizing the system. Controlled hot water can be used to pressurize the unit prior to opening a system to conduct a non-major repair. EPA regulations define a major repair as any maintenance, service, or repair involving the removal of any or all of the following appliance components: compressor, condenser, evaporator, or auxiliary heat exchanger coil. Never exceed 10 psig when pressurizing a system. Exceeding 10 psig can cause the ruptured disc, which is attached to the evaporator, to fail. A ruptured disc is a type of relief valve that cannot be reset and must be replaced if it fails. The ruptured disc is connected to the evaporator on a centrifugal chiller. To leak check a tube, use a hydrostatic tube test kit. To leak test a water box, insert the leak detector probe in the drain valve after removing the water. Recovery technique. A recovery unit's high pressure cutout is set for 10 psig, and a low pressure recovery vessel's rupture disc relieves at 15 psig. Refrigerant recovery from a system using CFC 11 or HCFC 123 begins with liquid removal and is followed by recovery of the remaining vapor to prevent freezing during recovery. The system's water must be circulated. During recovery of vapor, the recovery compressor, the system's water pumps, and the recovery condenser water must all be on. The recovery unit's condensing coil uses the local water supply. Well, all of these are test questions. We're going to go over these questions. We'll try to hit about 50 of these in low pressure before we leave out of here. We can get a good understanding about some of this stuff. A rule of thumb to determine the approximate amount of vapor remaining in an R11 system at 0 psig is to assume there are approximately 3 pounds of refrigerant per ton of refrigeration, and that 10% of the refrigerant will remain in vapor form after removal. 10% of the refrigerant will remain in vapor form after liquid removal. This method is not exact, but the resulting answer will be close to the number of pounds of vapor left to be recovered. Okay, next page. Recovery requirements. The following is a list of the required levels of evacuation. These should be memorized. Well, I got this book from the EPA agency, approved agency, and they're saying on here that you got to memorize it. Okay? There's nothing else I know to tell you, but you got to memorize it. That's the bottom line. You got to memorize these dates. They're telling you got to memorize it, and I'm telling you got to memorize it, so, and they're going to be on the test, I guarantee you. Please, just memorize these dates, get with your buddy or your wife or somebody, call them out to you, and go over and over and over some of these dates. Using recovery or recycling equipment manufactured or imported before November 15, 1993, 25 inches of mercury vacuum. Using recovery or recycling equipment manufactured or imported after November 15, 1993, 25 millimeters mercury absolute. Once the required vacuum has been achieved, the technician should wait for at least a few minutes and monitor the system pressure. If the pressure rises, indicating that there is refrigerant remaining in the system, recovery must be repeated. ASHRAE has set forth a